Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. In today's video, I'll be doing a flip through and review of Erik Barrett's Magical World. And if that is of interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so the way that I'm going to schedule this out is I've done a haul video that featured this, and then I'm going to put this video up after that. So it does have a shiny cover, so it's not great for filming purposes, but I actually do prefer the shiny covers. The matte ones just feel weird. I was a little hesitant on purchasing this. I did see this, I believe, on Feral Shoujo's channel here on YouTube. I'll link her channel below. And I'm always a little sketchy about buying books from artists that I've never heard of. But this artist, according to Amazon, actually has a lot of how to draw coloring books, and I definitely felt more comfortable that this wasn't stolen art or just that basic shutter art stuff, because I don't want to waste my money on that kind of stuff. Now, it is Amazon printed. I don't do This Book Belongs to pages. My coloring books are either here in my bedroom or in my office. No one else touches these, so I don't feel the need to put my name on it. This I would actually not color. I don't actually do a lot of the nameplate pages generally, especially not in an Amazon printed book. It does suggest that you do a barrier page. I always do, because this is going to be an alcohol marker work for me. It does give you some cute tester things. I don't generally test, so I probably will never use this page. And this is kind of interesting. It definitely gives me some Kerby Rosanes vibes, but that's probably nothing that I'd ever color as well. I did think this was really interesting because it actually has some very purposeful sections, and I'll show you that as we go along. I don't know if you can see it, but the black is not fully black. There are some lines, but that is, I think, more of a printing issue than it is the artist issue, because from what I've seen on how you upload information to get printed as a coloring book, this by the artist rendition would have been a fully black page with the line art in white on top of it. This looks like stuff that happens even at my copy machine at the office, that the toner isn't fully there. So it's probably, they printed a lot, and so you're going to get those lines. This is not a page I'm going to color, and even if it were, I'm not going to get fussed about stuff like that. The ink on the page themselves is perfect. Now, as you can see a little bit of a silhouette behind it, and that's actually this page right here. But once the ink goes on top of it, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Again, that's not something that I ever concern myself with. Now, if you're ever wondering why they do this as a throwaway page, when you're loading files to the Amazon KDP site, you have to take into account what's on this page. So from an artist perspective, I can see doing a filler page, and this one's actually very purposeful because it has some text regarding what the page is, but that way you don't forget and that your coloring book prints properly. Because if you forget the filler page, then you could potentially have both of your pages print back to back, and then for someone like me who does alcohol marker work, then it's a wasted page. So I know why they do it, because of the way you load files on Amazon KDP. This one, I kind of like the idea of it, that it's a black background. It does make it striking to this page, and that there is some text on what either this was to the artist, or how you can color this. But because of that that might be problematic for some of you, again, because it is on the page here, but for me, that's not going to be an issue. But it definitely gives me Kerby Rosanes, Jash Lee vibes. But I think the people in here are just, she is so pretty. And that looks like kind of a Pokemon character. Very whimsical. This kind of give me Studio Ghibli vibes. I mean, is she underwater? Is she on land? You know, the little fishies behind her and that fish right there would make me think she's on water. She's blowing bubbles, but this doesn't look like a water creature. So yeah, it's very surreal to me and yet gorgeous. The side eye that this lion is giving this dude right here, I'm not sure what he's doing, but this one doesn't approve. The side eye that this bird is giving either this witch or this cat is kind of like, yeah, your magic is spilling all over my feathers, lady. I love that. She looks so elegant to me, and yet I get some slightly steampunk vibes. The dragon behind her is absolutely phenomenal, but she also has wings, but she's this delicate little flower because it's kind of providing like a parasol shading effect. And she's reading a book. I mean, isn't this just a beautiful page? And then you've got the wing here. This could be sort of webbed like a bat or scaly like you see with the dragon, or a combination thereof. Hers are definitely feathers though. I think that's just so pretty. And then you've got this dragon, and what is a little ominous is that apparently this dragon just ate a person. Because I mean, the skull there is like, you know, I'm kind of, yeah, whatever, it's a skull. But the eyeball falling out of his mouth, that's kind of gross. I'm not mad at it, but it's still kind of gross. Are there two dragons? Why are there teeth on his back? Oh, that's his open jaw. Oh, so all of this is falling out of his mouth. Oh, okay. Okay, this is a lunchtime picture then. All right. Well, if ever there's a prompt for food, this would totally count. I definitely think that Jash Lee has a picture that kind of looks like this, at least the girl's head into like a, I don't know, what kind of animal is that? A ram? But do rams have teeth like that? A dinosaur? Whatever. Definitely have the kind of the vibe for this, but this one is like a fierce bird, and she's totally fierce, and this is still smoking, so it must have been dinner before and she just needed a hat. I don't know, but it's very interesting. This is Batgirl and dragons. Batgirls and dragons. Oh, so this is a snaky type thing, because this definitely looks like a dragon. She's got heels on, so that's always an interesting time. She can fly, so it doesn't matter the kind of ground that she's in. It looks like there's farmland here, but also some weird like office buildings. I'm not sure what world she lives in, but it's a very interesting composition. This one's really cool. She's carrying the world with her. Remember, the greater power you obtain, the greater responsibility you have to take. So I guess this is like sustainability, I guess. It definitely is giving me a message. I just don't know what the message is. Because is she a part of this world, or is this a part of her world? Or is that kind of the point? We're part of each other's world? I don't know, but pretty. So we go into Deep in the Woods. Again, loving the perspective. So this fox is looking up at these guys right here. And is this rain? Is this spit? Is this a spit fight with the birds and the fox? Who knows? Who even knows? And these hands are around this dragon. Looks like a dragon, kind of, with a little crescent moon there. And then with the way that these flowy lines are moving, it's like the magic of this. But this one has, well, this one has fingernails. Oh, okay, so these hands belong together, and these hands belong together because of the nails. So you need both magic and humans to make a dragon? That seems like science to me. Absolutely. This one is that other guy with the eyeball. So this is before lunch, if you're thinking from Instagram. And then the other one's after lunch. Instagram versus reality. I love it. Now this deer one, I mean, okay. I'm not inspired by this. I don't feel like I need to color this, unless of course there's a prompt for Olga. But yeah, he's a deer in a forest at night. Yay. Now this lion who's on fire is definitely more interesting. I believe there was a picture similar to this, not the same, but similar in vibes by way of a very intense, wolfy, liony animal in one of the mythographics. But this is definitely more interesting than this, but neither of them, unless it was a prompt, I would probably color. Now this bird, oh, this steampunk bird, he is giving me attitude. He's like, yeah, you are totally gonna color me and you're gonna love it. And I'm here for that. I'm not really a bird or animal person, but the attitude that I'm getting from this guy, yeah, I'm loving him. And then, okay, I don't understand this picture. So if you're looking at this, there's feet there, and he's sitting on this tree, so that makes sense. He's not hovering, and those are his knees, his hands, but look at this whole big old chicken head. I think he's compensating for something, because that's ridiculous. I mean, you're going to be so top heavy that you can't fly. How are you going to get down? Are you going to walk? You're going to fall over. Logistically, this doesn't make sense to me. This big chicken head guy, yeah, he's definitely compensating. But it's cute. I definitely like this picture. I have questions. Didn't someone mention this to you? I mean, seriously, what's all that nonsense? You don't need that. Be secure. Be secure in yourself. Up in the clouds, so no surprise, it's a bunch of cloudy type things. So here is a birdie cat. And he looks like he's looking for his treats. I don't know what these things are. I don't know if these are treats or if these are bubbles. Again, I'm not someone who gravitates a lot towards animals, but I do like the composition of this. You can see that the ink has not fully printed on the page. Again, that doesn't bother me. I found that if I go over, like these things right here, if I went over them, like with a highlighter, and I don't have to pull out a blotter, at least I don't think so, because it's a water-based marker. I do get a little bit darker in that black area right there, and then I could just color it so that, easy stars. That's kind of how I approach these things. This one I do find interesting. Now, the birds I'd probably have problems with, but I like that you get a sense of both flying up, but also falling down, just because of the perspective of this picture. So I think it's a really interesting composition. But from a coloring perspective, so I'd probably want to make this sky either very red or very black or very something. So this could be the moon or the sun, because I wouldn't do a lot with the clouds. Then I'd need to do something more with the birds. And then this would definitely need to be a feature just to make this an interesting picture for me. This one as well, I think I've seen, I think it's Jash Lee, something similar. But all of these things are heading up into the sun, to include fish, dragons, penguins. Again, not a picture that I would gravitate towards. If there were a prompt out there for fish or dragons, whale, penguin, I'm pretty sure I could find something else. But this I do like. One, because the side-eye dragon, he is like, just take the picture. And she's all very zen, right? She's an Instagram model. She's a professional. She knows what she's doing. He's like, I am over this. All right. But you also get a denotion of both speed and movement because of these things going on down here. So that's really interesting composition to me. And I actually would color it vertical like this. I hate coloring pages horizontally. That kind of tipping on there bothers me. So when I colored this is the way that I would color it. I like that she has a little clouds. The whole thing here is very surreal. These look like marshmallow fish in the sky with a turtle who needs to get to a salon because those nails are just out of control. That is not safe, but still very interesting picture. Again, this bird apparently, oh, okay, so these look like angry birds, but they also look like they've gotten a fight. I'm thinking this stingray right here was just not having it, and so they've had some words, but she's like, don't matter, I'm gonna play my guitar in the clouds, and I'm gonna have Beyonce hair with the whole wind thing because I can. And then the cat, he's like, I'm cute, so don't even look at those birds that have been in a fight. It's not even about them. Okay, let's not make it about them. Then we go into dive into the ocean. She is gorgeous. And I'm not a water person by way of, I don't really like coloring water, but I think she's so interesting that I think this could be a very interesting page. Again, a very interesting perspective because you've got the bird boy and he is either harassing, because he does look a little mischievous, or he's just hanging out with the mermaid chick right here. And you've got that whole fish in the sky, flying fish. Oh, well, that makes sense. And then fish in the water. But I do like you have the water line right there. One of my favorite Zan Von Zed pictures that I've done had that same thing. So I think that could be really interesting to denote the blue of the water and the blue of the sky and just make this a really interesting picture. This kind of seems like R.J. Hampson to me. Is that the name? R.J. Hampson? Where you have kind of, this is what this is dreaming of. This is how I see this picture. This little submarine here is thinking it's a pirate ship on the water. Right? Because they don't actually really make sense. I mean, why is a submarine here? What's with the duck butt? This fish is having some issues. And yet you've got pirate sail dreams going up on there. Very interesting picture. I'd actually look forward to coloring this because I would probably close out the sky here. There would be no sky up here for me. I might actually put text about pirates or dreams or something like that. But I think that would be really interesting to do. Same like this. So you've got, I guess, a battle catfish just based on the scales, and then a whale, but she is jumping in the water, and then just the movement out there, that's just, I think that's really pretty. This guy standing on the water, but not really, because his feet's in the water. His feet, no S. His feet are in the water, on the water. So this actually, okay. Actually, I think his feet are on the water. And so I don't know how I would color this. Again, I'm not into water. I'm not into fish. But just because of the composition of this, would I color this all in alcohol marker and then put a glaze of something so that it does look like you're in the water looking up at him? I would be interested in how people color this because I think the composition of it and just the perspective of it is quite intriguing. Now we're going to the countryside. And I guess that is denoted because there's some country houses. Otherwise, this flying whale bird and a dragon guy and a giant moon. Interesting composition. I don't know that I would gravitate to coloring this because of the big spaces. Those kind of bore me after a while. Oh, it's more of those Angry Birds, but with flying fish. And apples, kumquats, berries. I don't know what they are, but I do think it's interesting. Something of a more simplistic page. It is interesting with the dragon on here, but again, probably something I wouldn't gravitate towards coloring just because there is a lot of open space on there. This, even though there is a lot of open space, I like her interaction with this one and then this one watching. So is this one judgy? Is this one protecting this one? Are these two having like a thing and this one is jealous? What's with this lizard bat? And then, you know, who's the peeping Tom here? But it's an interesting composition, even though there is a lot of space on it. And then we get into the cities. I like the perspective of this. It is a very surreal picture with the whales in the sky. But I think this actually could still be a very interesting picture because you do have an interesting horizon line. So you could make this a day sky or a night sky. I would probably want to do the whales first. I like to do the main components there because then that would help me figure out, okay, if I'm going to do these like in a blue-gray, then I'd probably want my sky to be like in pinks or oranges or purple just to contrast. But if I did these in a whimsical fashion, then I could do my sky in like a black or a blue. That's kind of how I approach pages. But I like her, and I like that the cat is watching there. This one as well, I'm getting Jash Lee vibes, very surreal. You've got the planet there, the perspective of the buildings looking up, but then there's this giant tortoise. This one does not have the nail issue, so at least it's a little bit more safe than the other one that we saw. This here is probably one of the most striking pictures. It doesn't really fit with any of the other things by way of composition, and yet I find it so beautiful. And even the eyes are not very detracting to me. But just this whole marionette imagery, I think is just beautiful. You've got this, there's a doodle book that I have. It's kind of similar. There's a Kerby picture that has a big turtle, and I think he has like a house on him. So it's giving me the vibes. It's certainly not the same picture, but that's kind of the thing. With this, even though there's a lot of detail, again, it's probably not something that I would color right off. Although if there were a prompt for clock or crane, this might be a contender. Probably not, but you know, it is interesting visually. It's just not interesting enough that I think I would color it. This one is, again, these are looking at whatever she's looking at. So are the whales. But then you have the guy who didn't get the memo. Oh, these two. They didn't get the memo that you're not supposed to look at the camera. You're supposed to be enraptured by what's ever going on over here, but they're like, I see you, I see you, I see you. I know I'm just an extra in this picture, but yeah, I see you. But it's a very interesting composition, certainly more interesting than some of the other ones in this particular section. As is this one with this giant cat. What is that, a cat, a fox? Again, those side-eye fish. Oh, and a side-eye shark. Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly what's going on by this picture, but she's got heels and a little pocketbook. So yeah, everything's cool. We're fine. And then this one here, the dragon in the moon. These angry bird bats. And then again, that cat. And she's just sitting out on the ledge watching the sky. And that brings us to the end of the book. There is one page back here. And that is this, A Magical World by Erik Barrett. Leave me a comment in the comment section below if you have this coloring book and any of the images that stood out to you. That's it for me for now. And as always, aloha.